Okay, 10 seconds remaining.
Ooh, let's go.
5, 4, 3,
What's that doing?
2, 1, and they're gone.
And they're off. And Paul's more done.
Yeah.
Yeah. True. I was looking at the RTMP and I'm like, FlipSide's still looking at that that map.
I'm also looking at the RTMP. Let's see. Well, it will be soon that soon Fiesel will sync up all these streams, but for now they're slowly going ahead with their race. The race is on the way. Well, this Metroid Fusion, there's a lot of text in this game, which most runners of this game hate.
About 30 minutes of text. Yeah.
But one of the first rooms of the game has this, we call it the climb. Essentially, it's a series of about 6 wall jumps or so. So you gotta do that. It's a big reset point in the game, I guess, for a lot of people. You can feel it.
It's genuinely one of the hardest tricks in the game.
AC is giving Next Gen a little bit of time to catch up here by messing up the climb about 4 times.
Yeah. Let's see, it's also faster in this game to walk than to jump because your horizontal speed is slower when you're in the air. Wall jumping is faster horizontally than just normal jumping, but still slower than just walking.
Yeah, so they're going to want to be running at almost every single point that they have. Also, we should probably do a roll call. I'm Hercules Bench Press.
I'm Boxmeister.
And I'm Shasta.
We will be your commentators for the next hour or so.
Quick note to Fiesel to type my name correctly on stream.
Boxmaster, Boxmeister, it won't matter. It's all clean. He's
Anyways,
to the next set of races.
You can also put MR_Shasta if you want to as well on stream. Either way, it works.
Oh well, they're now past the Horn Node, the first enemy they encounter, and they're now on the second text mesh. And right now there's not too much difference between the runners. It's the first part of the game, and it's just all depending on how fast they can text mesh.
Yeah, for the next like 4 minutes or so, there's not going to be a whole lot of deviation between the runners. And that's mostly because there's really no RNG up until the first eye door. So they're going to be trying to text mash as quickly and efficiently as possible. But once they get to that first eye door, a lot is going to change because there's going to be a lot of people falling behind or someone getting very far ahead by getting really good RNG.
Yeah, I do have to note that Mandatoby is slightly ahead, but he runs normally on English version, so he's very used to the text of this for this race. Most top runners use the Japanese version because the text is much faster.
A good thing to note too is that while the text may be faster in Japanese version, it saves about 3 minutes as opposed to English. But that's only in RTA. The text does not affect the in-game timer, which is why the RTA time for this game is about 30 minutes ahead of the in-game timer. So basically, the timer is going whenever you have control of Samus. So excluding during when she's on screen running and getting item expansions and stuff like that. But when she's talking to Adam or going through door transitions, the timer's not really going.
We also see this effect appearing on a couple of instances. We will note them when they appear. Right now they're picking up their first item upgrades, the missiles, very much used on most bosses, I guess.
I think really every boss because of Corexes.
Yeah, indeed. So normally in most Metroid 2D games, you start with 5 missiles. You pick up a missile expansion and you get 5 missiles. In this game, the basic missile upgrades give you 10 missiles.
And in most other Metroid games, you would tend to get the morph ball first before getting any other upgrades. But Metroid's a little unconventional in that sense.
Fusion indeed deviates from this scheme, so-called scheme. Right now they're
Mayways
picking up two missile. Right now they're picking up two missile tanks that are on the way, directly on the way. So they always pick up those two missile tanks.
The reason they grab those two missile tanks is it'll not only is it for convenience, but it's because the boss Arachnus it takes 15 missiles to kill, and it's always nice to have an extra 5 missiles on hand, especially if you're gonna be fighting the Core X.
Yeah. Looks like FlipSide good luck in third, it seems.
Oh,
I think he got a single beam that time.
Mandatoby is currently fighting, currently killed Arachnus. And he's now performing the pair of double missiles against the Core X. And the double missiles, the Core X takes 3 missiles to die. But if you conveniently fire your missiles one after another so that they line up and you have the Core X run into it from the sides, then it will take a double hit. Both missiles will hit, and so you can skip a round of invulnerability frames.
In order to do that,
and that will be.
Sorry, go ahead.
And that's what's used on all normal Core X's. B Core X's are an exception, but we'll get to that. Go ahead, Shasta.
Alright, so in order to double missiles, essentially you gotta do a very small short hop and then fire missile immediately after that. Like short hop missile, then missile, essentially. That allows you to, of course, just get on top of it.
Missile jump missile is what is normally used.
Oh, my bad.
You want to fire the missile up and then jump and fire the next missile, so that way it's directly right next to it. So that
it's
way
almost a memory for me.
Yeah, it's just so that they can line up and hit on the same frame. So something Mandatoby is doing is he's grabbing that missile tank on the main deck, and that's mainly for ease in Sector 1, because Sector 1 is very
missile intensive.
Very missile intensive, and it's very important to have good missile management, because every time the way Fusion's pickup works is that whenever you're at full health, you'll be guaranteed missile drops, and vice versa. So if you're at max missiles, you're going to be guaranteed to get health drops. So it's really convenient to not take any hits at all, but it's also rather safe, especially in a marathon setting or a tournament setting, to grab those 5 missiles on the main deck just in case.
Well, there are also runners who will pick it up normally. It isn't that much of a time loss, because it will speed up a later boss in the game, naturally, because you have 5 extra missiles. You don't need to use a charge beam combination, so it saves a little bit of time on that boss. So that's why it can pay off.
Well, I think I don't know this for sure, because I know when I do tournament or marathon runs and I grab that missile tank, I tend to just substitute it for a different one later, and that'll usually be the one in Sector 6 that I don't grab, or the one after animals, next to the elevator. So they might just substitute that one just for the missile security in Sector 1, and then just skip another one later, because it doesn't lose that much time.
Indeed. It's also a bit of a preference matter, I guess. I mean, some runners pick up 35, most runners pick up 40, I guess, and some runners pick up 45.
40 is the one the amount that you really want to grab, because that's the safe amount. 35 is optimal. It's the optimal missile strat where you're not going to be wasting any missiles. But that one's really, really hard to pull off, and it's not really recommended. Yeah. And sometimes they'll end up grabbing 45, and that's usually in the case of where they mess up Genesis or Spitter Room, and they have to grab an extra missile.
The room Mandatoby was just in is the pirate room, where you fell down. You fall down alongside the wall. That's the fastest, and you fire missiles on the way to kill the pirates to prevent from hitting those pirates, because you want to be at, like Herc said, you want to be at full health to get all missile pickups from the enemies.
Yeah, and that one too is that there can be a random amount of pirates on that wall, the most being 5, and that's really, really slow chances to have 5 on there, but it's happened, and most recently...
I got that yesterday in my runs, actually. I got 5.
I was doing, I think last week or earlier in the week, I was doing 0% runs, and 2 runs in a row, I got 5 pirates on the wall.
Wow.
And I think the percentage chance is like it's less than 1%, I'm pretty sure, but getting it twice in a row is a little bit of a statistical anomaly.
Oh, there's also another strat coming up. We forgot to discuss it earlier, but what Mandatoby and Jaysee probably will be doing against this Idor and the previous Idor is attempting a double missile on the Idor. But it's kind of hard to line those missiles up.
Yeah, the second one is a little bit harder because you have a lot less space. But essentially, you want to stand on the very right side where Jaysee is standing, and what you want to do is you jump and then you fire a missile and then you press A again to start spinning and then fire another missile, so that way you can have 2 missiles sort of stacked on top of each other. So when Samus is falling in her spin animation and she fires another missile, it'll
start from the back.
Yeah, so I believe you want to jump, spin, and then fire missiles, but basically one of the missiles will start from behind, and then the second missile will just start a little bit ahead, and they'll practically be on the same frame.
So that was a beautiful effect from Jaysee right there. He had the first double missile strat, which is like horizontally, which is a little harder to do in that boss, and then he did a wall jump and then the one from he did a double missile going downwards, which is really cool.
Oh, also forgot to mention it's on the beam core axis you can also double missile, but but kind of hard to pull off.
The reason why is because unlike the other core X's, the beam core X's only have a small hitbox for vulnerability, which is their eye that opens up. So you essentially need to stack the missiles and hit. It's kind of like doubling an eye door, where you need them to be right on top of each other for the double to be effective.
Yeah. Also, now they have the Charge Beam, and Charge Beam is a really overpowered upgrade in this Metroid game.
It's a little broken.
It fires
just a little bit. Not too much.
It fires 2 shots, and it also has a flare, which will be useful against a couple of bosses that we will encounter soon.
Yeah, they're going to be having the Charge Beam charged for pretty much the entirety of them running. So I hope you get used to that sound, because while they're going through rooms, they're going to have a Charge Beam constantly charged, so that way they can deal with enemies quickly that are on the ground, and so that way they can continue moving through the rooms without taking, mostly no damage.
Yeah.
But like Box said, that the Charge Beam has 2 parts. Each part of the beam, top and bottom, does 10 damage each, and then the flare, which you can see around Samus's arm cannon when it fires, it does 6 damage. So it does a total of 26 damage if all 3 parts hit.
Yep. Also, this is because they have Charge Beam now. They don't fire 3 missiles at the Idor. They can now kill it in 1 Charge Beam plus flare hits, I believe. Yeah, flare. They need to hit it with flare as well.
Hit what?
You can kill the Idor with the Charge Beam plus flare now. Yeah,
the first 2 doors are the worst doors in the game, mainly because you have to hit them with 3 missiles. But once you get the Charge Beam, it really you only need to hit it once, taking out 2 extra rounds. So the RNG goes down a little bit more, but not by much, because each door can still fire between 0 to 4 shots, and it's most likely, I believe it's more likely to shoot 1 to 3 than it is to shoot 0 to 4. So they're going to be looking to get 0 beams on every door, but it's going to be really, really tough to get that.
Yep.
So now we're in Sector 2, which is the sort of vegetation plant sector, if you want to call it that. There's always
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. There's always enemies around called Zoros. They move very slowly, and when you hit them, does I think 45 damage to you. So
yeah, each Zoro does 45 damage.
So you don't want to hit them at all, to say the least. But some of these... Sorry, go ahead.
This is also the hardest, one of the harder sectors when you start speedrunning this game because of the amount of because of the high amount of damage that you'll probably take.
Yeah, those things pack a punch, even though you don't look like it at all.
And it's another like area too where it's gonna be drilled in, especially if you're a new runner to the game, where moving quickly through rooms is pretty important. So, you can see them the way they're moving through the rooms, and it takes a while to be able to get all the timing down for all the charge beams and missiles.
Mandatoby, by the way, just got a very difficult jump. That gap he just cleared is very precise jump to clear that gap without ledge grabbing.
There's a couple pixels, I believe, for that jump, but it's not many.
Shout out to frame savers.
Yeah, it's a pretty tight jump. There's another jump like that too in Sector 4 where you can skip grabbing a ladder, but it's almost like frame perfect and like height specific to get the jump just perfect.
And nobody's really consistent at getting those jumps.
Not really, no. It's really hard. It's like getting a frame perfect shine charge in Sector 3.
We'll come to that later, indeed.
Well, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're not gonna jump ahead of ourselves. We got a lot of game for them to still play at least, and a lot for us to still commentate on.
Indeed.
Sure.
So now they've picked up bombs, and now they move towards one of the more random bosses of this game, Jaysee87.
I think the most random out of all the bosses. I think this is the only one that's specifically determinant on RNG.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh yeah, true. I did say Yakuza, but no, this is actually mostly his luck.
Yeah, this one, Yakuza is like... We're gonna get to it later, but Yakuza is kind of like... It's RNG at first, and then it's, you know, it's a lot more skill at first, but this one is just... It's completely RNG the entire way, from how many times he jumps to... Well, that's the only part of the boss fight, honestly.
I don't know, man, you gotta move over and just do a few things. That's some stuff right there.
Toby just didn't grab the red X there.
That's not good.
A lot of the runners
be fine, but
a lot of the runners also picked up the second E-tank right before the I-door. That's also in safety, mostly in the safety E-tank. Most top runners pick up 3 E-tanks. There are also runners who pick up more, but that E-tank is mostly often picked up during races for safety.
Yeah, I mean, most runners that have like top times, like anywhere below sub 50, they'll tend to grab between, I'd say, 0 to 3 E-tanks. But usually in settings like this, it's a lot safer to grab that extra E-tank because they can die anywhere. And a little bit about Jaysee87, you keep saying that he's an RNG.
Yeah, we didn't explain it.
Yeah, it's basically every time Jaysee87, like every one of his phases, he can jump, he can waste jumps. So he can, in the first phase, he can waste 0 to 3 jumps before opening up and becoming vulnerable. And the second round, he can waste 1 to 4, and in the third phase, he can waste 2 to 5. So making the best Jaysee87 possible a 3 jump wasted Jaysee87, and the worst being 12 wasted jumps. Obviously, 3 is a lot better to get, and the lower it is, the much better, and the more time you save. But Jaysee87 can be a little trolly sometimes, and then it'll always open.
Right now they're at they have the SCX, they see the SCX. It's not an encounter, but in 100% they actually face the SCX because they have more E-tanks, so they can tank through the SCX encounter basically. That's
go ahead.
It's not viable in any percent because she'll die basically.
They still
do it 8% though. I think the actual JP Soul Decker does that. It's really, really hard to get past them, though. That's for sure.
There are two different setups for the Sax skip in any percent. One is you can grab Sax's attention, run back to the wall, do a wall jump, and then fall down on the left side, and then jump over the ice beams, either in Morph Ball or just by spin jumping. The other one, which is more, like I think saves a little bit more time, and is the one that more people tend to do, is you go into a Morph Ball, and while morphed, you jump over the first ice beam shot. Then Sax will aim up and shoot another beam, in which case you'll already be on the other side, so it'll turn around, because you'll have jumped over Sax. It'll shoot one up, and then as you're rolling away, it'll shoot one more. And all you have to do is hop over that one, and then you can run out of the room. And it's really tight timing, and it's not at all advised in a marathon setting. Or
definitely not.
Unless you safety save.
Or unless you're a world record holder and really on a tight schedule.
True. Very true.
It says about 10 seconds to your right. Is that correct?
I would say about
enough.
8. I think 8
Okay.
8 to 10 seconds, I think.
Fun fact to know, Mandatoby and JC just entered Sector 4. It's the only sector where the entrance to the nav room is actually on the left of the elevator instead of the right.
Wonder why that is, honestly.
Yeah, nobody knows.
It's also my personal favorite sector of all of them. It's most just underwater, and there's a lot of really cool like strats and platforming around all the Amazon. Like in its first you get a whole charge through this door, and just straight up just go right through him like that.
It's the first part of the Sector 4 is very charge beam and movement intensive. They do also kind of tricks everything in their path, so they can pass by without losing much time. Like the double R-shot skill they do there. R-shot is something that's in Fusion. Basically, when you charge a beam and you press R, it fires the charge shots without changing your momentum state, so you won't break out of spin or speed boost or whatever.
But it's important to note that with R shooting, you can only do it if you have missiles. So if you have 0 missiles, you won't be able to R shoot.
Yeah.
Pretty beautiful right there from Mandatoby.
Oh yeah. So the boss that they're about to be coming up on the boss Saris, and he is a make or break kind of boss in terms of timing. He's got about 3 patterns that he can do, and each one has a left and right to it. So a
5
total
patterns.
So 6 patterns in total. 3 with 2 different directions. But what they're going to want to do is they're going to want to hold the charge beam, and what you see Mandatoby doing here is he's going to be going all the way to the left, and he's going to be firing the charge beam directly into Saris's face. Doing that, he'll land both parts of the beam and the flare, doing 26 damage. And since Saris only has 50 damage, and doing it twice, you can kill Saris in 2 hits.
Yeah.
JC got it perfect, and
Mandatoby missed a chance, so he now lost his advantage to JC more or less.
Well, it's important to note too that all 4 of them they're each doing their own race, a 2-way race. So it's going to be interesting to compare Toby and JC since their times are virtually the same.
Indeed.
But Toby and FlipSide are the ones going against each other, and JC and NextGen. So each 2 screens that are across from each other.
Yeah, but it's also fun. It's also fun to do a bit of a comparison, of course.
Absolutely.
Oh no, Toby, what are you doing? I was trying to do it before his Shine Sparks thing over that, but now he's messed up a bit, it seems. But go back in there at least.
Wow.
I didn't know you could do that.
No, I didn't know either.
I don't know if that's technically faster.
It might be.
I would have to time it to see because I've never
they now have the speed booster, and the speed booster after a while of running, you'll start going fast, and then you can run through these kind of arrow blocks. They have an arrow pattern on them, but you can also press down, and then you store the speed booster, or basically store a shine spark, as it's called, and then when you press double A, then you can unleash the shine spark, and then you can you shoot away in one of in five directions: left, right, or left, right, up, and diagonal up, left, diagonal up, right.
So what JC did there when he was in the pump control room was he did something, or not in the pump control room, in the big room. He was trying to do what is known as a low height shine spark, and what that is essentially is it's a low height shine spark. It happens when Samus is as low to the ground as she possibly can be. Most times when you use the shine spark, she will hop up in the air and she will have a little animation beforehand, but if you can do it right, you can either bounce off of the ground to get the perfect height, or you can do it right before Samus hits the ground, where you can unmorph and press the A button to use the shine spark, and it'll shine spark you lower than you're meant to. And in doing that, he could have gotten all the way under the area.
Tunnel.
Yeah, he could have gone all the way through the tunnel underneath the what is it, that platform, and held the shine spark the entire way through without losing much time, or in fact gaining some time. But
also good to notice that if you
the wrong way.
Also good to know, if you spark into a slope, you start running on the surface again.
But that'll only happen if they're still holding the direction that they're currently going. Because if they let go of the direction, then she'll just bonk into a slope. And funny.
And it's also note it's not always faster to shine spark, because it has a long startup animation and it's long bunk animation. So that's why you mostly tend to want to end your speed boosts into a space jump, or or end it with a jump.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain areas too where you could use a shine spark, but it's considerably faster to not use that.
Yeah. So if you wonder why they're running or jumping instead of using a shine spark, there's your answer.
Is that on JC's screen?
I think it's his chats.
Yeah, it's IRC. I think it is IRC.
Yeah, that's weird.
There it is. Now I see it.
No, that is it's Twitch chat.
It's. Thanks, JC.
Damn it, JC!
Take it.
I think he might have opened the Speed Gaming channel and kind of just.
That's not the Speed Gaming channel. It has emotes. Or wait, you mean the chat of the Speed Game Twitch, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
What JC just got there essentially was he had shine spark on top of the booster block. He stored that, which allowed him to get through his next room here, which is just a room of climbing up wire.
The shine break.
A little bit faster. It's kind of hard to get that. It's all just tight timing, but if you get it, it
also here you see that the in-game timer is running during the item acquisition, because they lay a bomb just before picking up this missile tank, and the bomb will go off during the item acquisition, which allows them to go faster around the block.
Get him now that what is Toby doing?
He does realize
that out of bounds is not allowed, right?
Are we gonna disqualify him for that?
No, he didn't go out of bounds.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, you're right.
I'm pretty sure that we specifically said that out of bounds is
not allowed.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we can explain this since Toby decided to go for it. Back in April, ZX987, I believe is
497.
497. That's what it is. I'm thinking of Jack 879. That's why.
809.
No.
Oh, never mind.
8675309.
Basically, ZX, he's I'm pretty sure he's a zero mission tasser,
Yeah,
he found a way to get out of bounds, a new way to get out of bounds that, I mean, some people have been looking for, but couldn't find anything. And apparently it's English exclusive to where you can spin jump into a respawning block and it'll push Samus out of bounds. Doing that, essentially, and where Mandatoby was going to do it, where Bob is that unskippable missile tank, unskippable quote unquote, because you can do a spin jump on that respawning block, and you can be pushed out of bounds and get back in bounds on the other side of Bob, and then do a ball hop or a bomb jump over Bob to be able to skip it, and it's made 0% a lot more viable and marathon friendly.
Yeah. The old way to skip that tank requires a shine spark which only has 7 frames of error, so it's really tight and requires a lot of pulse buffering.
It's about 5 frame perfect jumps as well.
It's nearly undoable on console on normal runner conditions.
Pretty sure only 4 people still have done it the original way.
Yeah.
I've come close, but it's really hard. I prefer the new 0% out of bounds strat.
I think pretty much everyone does, to be honest, considering the other one has 7 frames of error.
It's so much more consistent, even though it's a frame perfect trick.
Yeah.
Well,
it's much better than a few frame trick over like multiple seconds. That's for sure.
Right. So they just fought the security box. Getting back to what's actually going on in the run.
Oh yeah, true.
They've already been in the security box, and they actually didn't kill it or get any upgrades after they got super missiles and killed it. But that's not the last we're going to be seeing of that security robot.
Also,
yeah.
A fun fact to know: it's one of the two only two non-X infected bosses in this game.
Oh yeah, true.
At this point, it is they're infected yet. Spoilers.
True. Most of the it looks like 3 of the runners have gotten to Sector 6 now, or 2 of the runners. FlipSide is on his way to Sector 6, so they're going to be going and going to be trying to dodge all of these ice X that have been infecting Sector 6, and while they're dodging them, they can do quite a bit of damage. I think it's around 86 or 76 damage, I believe. I think it's 76. It's 76 damage.
Around 80, indeed.
Yeah, but they're gonna want to try to shoot them and stun them as quickly as they can, but they seem pretty safe for now, so it's probably nothing to be too worried about, and mainly getting to the upgrade room is relatively easy in Sector 6.
Of note as well in Sector 6, at the very beginning of the sector, there is a barrier in the way. They need three missiles to actually get through. Yep. And if you don't have 3 missiles by end of Sector 3, then you have to use a recharge station in order to actually get past it.
Or
otherwise not enough.
Or a missile tank. Or a missile tank.
Actually, there's that missile tank that's right to the left that JC decided to... Usually when you enter Sector 6, you lay a bomb along that left wall, which FlipSide was doing now. And when you do that, you're opening that wall, but if you don't have enough missiles, you can grab that missile there and just skip it on the way out.
It's only slightly slower.
It's a little slower at first, but it balances out when you don't have to grab it on the way out. Basically, not getting a lot of luck on these eye doors. He's getting a lot of shots. So, Mega
right
Corax.
Yeah.
This boss is pretty interesting.
This one also uses the Charge Beam plus Flare to deal optimal damage. Mega X has 100 HP if I remember correctly, so you can kill it with 4 Charge Beam plus Flare shots. But that requires you to get inside the core. That's why they jump straight up, no spin jump, because then you do a pseudo screw attack. and deal less damage.
God, Jason got a perfect fight right there. The strat for that boss is essentially you're supposed to use a charge shot and get damage boosted inside of him. Essentially, all 4 times you have to hurt him, and that allows you to get his full charge on top of him and just kill him really quickly. Jason got that, and also 3 double misses in a row too.
Yeah, so he's really he's feeling it, I guess you could say. He's on a roll.
He really is.
Yeah, he's doing. It's looking really easy to him at this point. So leaving Sector 6 is a lot more dangerous than going to it, because now all of these these monsters are spawned. And the puffers. The puffers are probably the worst enemies in this game.
Agreed.
And they have the most RNG, I think, like out of every enemy.
Yeah.
They have the most movement patterns, I'm pretty sure, because they can go in
4 directions. I think.
Diagonally, at least.
Yeah. They only move diagonally, and they can move in any diagonal direction.
And when you kill them, the reason I call them puffers is when you kill them, they puff out all these poisonous gas, which just hurts you instead. So it's hard to get through them like that. You can't just like spin jump through them with a charge beam, for instance.
Ooh, FlipSide is near death.
Oh god, don't die!
He'll be fine.
Please.
He'll be fine.
Ooh, 9 health. And
Okay, we're good.
Wow!
Very
that, like,
close.
scared missile spam. Oh my.
Yeah, he was really afraid there.
I guess
upward.
I've known whenever you collect the upgrade there from a Core X, for instance, it gives you 4 tanks of health. So in that case, he has 3 tanks, so it's perfect.
Yeah, so every time they grab a Core X, they're gonna be refilled completely on health and missiles, which is really, really helpful.
Yeah.
To say the very least.
It requires basically is what allows us to skip all recharge rooms during an any percent run, basically. Guys?
Yeah.
Correct. Sorry, what?
Well, like, for the most part, unless like Sector 3, of course, you have missiles for whatever reason. Maybe miss a box. But for the most part, you don't have recharge stations.
Yeah.
Run because of that.
Recharge stations are hardly ever used. So you probably won't see any of them hitting a recharge station unless they desperately need it, which I don't think any of these runners will.
Nah.
Next Gen maybe, because he's a little rusty still, but
well,
I mean,
Next Gen hasn't gotten into danger yet, from the looks of it. So
he's taking it slowly for now.
yeah, he's doing good.
Yeah.
So now we're introduced to the last sector in the game, which is Sector 5 right here, which is mostly full of ice. So you actually need a very suit in order to get through a sector, because otherwise you just freeze to death.
Well, when you first enter Sector 5, it's easy because you can use your super missiles to basically kill all your enemies on the way, and pseudo screw attack does the rest. But when you pick up the upgrades in this sector, the ice missiles, then it's getting harder to go fast, because it won't instantly kill enemies, it will freeze them first. Anyone want to add comments?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's pretty much the ice missiles are just, they quote-unquote can't give you ice beam, according to Adam in the plot, so they decide to give you missiles that are, you know, icy, and that apparently is better for Samus.
It really isn't, but it is.
Yeah, it's kind of a major plot hole, but, you know, whatever. This game, you know, doesn't really have a whole lot of plot.
Not a whole lot. Those dialogues, nothing. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. There's also another upgrade, which is kind of questionable in nature, but we'll come to that later.
Alright, the room Jason's coming up to right now, essentially, what he did is whenever you go through a door tradition, you're pulling a charge beam. The first frame that you let go of the charge beam, like during a door tradition, will fire immediately. So in that case, he looked diagonally up right and was able to actually take out that gate quickly, so you can actually get a shine spark to get through the rest of that room really quickly.
Yeah, it's interesting the way that the game allows you to do that. While going through a door transition with the full charge beam, it'll just release it the very first frame that Samus comes is controllable again. Mm-hmm. It's used, I think, in a few other spots as well. It might come to mind, but I'm half asleep anyway.
It's used in. It's also used. Let's see. It's also used in the main deck after Yakuza, I think.
Mandatoby just did reverse ice missiles, by the way. So I'll point that out. Yeah, he just did it.
I completely missed that. Did he get it first try?
He got it first try, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
I just noticed it halfway through it.
Alright, so...
What a god gamer.
What a guy. So what he did there is reverse ice. Essentially, Jagger found the strat. Or, well, I don't know if Jagger found it, but Jagger is the only one that really does it, and he does it, like, in every run. If you store Shine Spark going back the other way, it's a frame-perfect shine storage. To where you put it down as soon as you land. You can use that and Shine Spark up the back way instead of going the other way to get ice missiles, and it saves exactly 1 second.
In-game time, I believe.
I think both.
Okay. And it loses you 15 seconds if you miss, so...
Approximately, yeah. Because then you gotta go back. Also, emergency in Franker Z.
I got you.
Spam that into chat, people.
Emergency in Franker Z.
Indeed.
Or excuse me, hold on 1 second.
Emergency.
There you go.
Yes. Emergency in Odin.
Emergency in pregnancy. That's new right there.
Yeah, I think I've heard that one once or twice in our Discord. And we were just joking around about that kind of stuff. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah. So this section of the game, it's probably the most skill-intensive part of the game. You're just trying to run through Sector 3 as quickly as you can, and you're given an insanely lenient amount of time to get to the boiler room. I would say extremely lenient because they're only going to be needing around 2 minutes of that time. Not even.
1.5 minutes.
1.5.
Yeah, like a minute and a half, which is crazy.
A quarter of the total time you get. It's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, they're going to be using their ice missiles a lot to do, I guess, sort of platforming to make it go by a little bit faster, and it's
it takes. They also use the curved missiles here to freeze the strategies quickly. Basically, your movement speed gets added into the missile speed, which makes the missiles slightly curve ahead and hit the enemies earlier. It's used in a few places.
Yeah, so the missiles we probably could have mentioned that back in Sector 1, but we just forgot to. Yeah, the missiles, for whatever reason, in this one instead of the other ones, they get. I think it's exclusive to this one. It might not be. I don't remember, but
it's also used in Zero Mission, I believe.
Wow.
Jason got a really good time there.
He did. 435 is pretty damn good. But yeah, no, the velocity gets added to your missiles in Fusion, which is, or the x-axis velocity from Samus.
Horizontal velocity.
And they just got the Spazer beam.
White beam.
Or white beam in this game.
Listen, it's all the same. They got the beam that
respect
makes
the lore, okay?
What lore?
The lore, dude.
Uphold the lore.
I don't remember Samus ever having something called a wide beam. I'm pretty sure Super Metroid is the only other one that comes before this.
Yeah. They strangely enough decided to change the name of the beam.
Oh yeah. But this one, it also, since they've got a beam upgrade now, it's important to note that each one of those circle bits from the wide beam does 15 damage. So hitting all three of them will do a total of 15 damage, which is, or a total of 45 damage, which is significantly more than the 26 damage they were doing before.
It's also fun to note in this game, basically the missiles and the charge beam change their respective damage position. Just as the missiles catch up in terms of damage they do, the charge you get another beam upgrade, which makes it do more damage, and then the missiles get another upgrade. Again, so up until now, well, charge beam has been the most damaging one, but the missiles slowly catch up, and now the beam is definitely the most damaging one again.
Yeah, and like Eagle in the chat said, it sometimes just flat out misses blocks right in front of you or diagonally below you,
Yeah,
which
indeed.
is really infuriating, especially when you're going to Yakuza and there's blocks that you have to destroy, and you can be standing directly on top of it, shooting right on them, but for whatever reason, it doesn't hit them, and it's really I don't even know what causes it. It's like a specific hitbox or something.
Well,
but
mostly it happens when you walk, and then you miss the block completely for some strange reason, even though you have a very densely packed beam.
I mean, when you're standing still too, like you can easily miss it while you're standing still, which is bizarre.
Wow.
It's weird to say the least.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not there sometimes.
Now
Well,
they're going. Now
Go
they're
ahead.
going to do something that every Super Metroid run regrets. They're going to save the animals.
Ugh. God.
Donate money now to have them killed.
We'll figure out how to kill them.
Yeah, don't
Don't worry,
worry.
man.
So we'll make one of them load up Super Metroid and then play through that.
Indeed. The animals are also one of the RNG bosses in the game, basically, because it takes them a random amount of time to get out of their storage room. It can.
I have no by the way in that first room right there. So you did something called a jump extend. Essentially, press A and B back and forth while spinning, and allows you to get a little, just a little more like vertical horizontal distance, which allowed him to actually grab the ledge there. So I'm gonna wait for that little stretchy to freeze him.
You basically reset your vertical speed by spin canceling, and that's what allows you to get a bit further horizontally.
As you can see on JC's screen, when he got the animals, they took a little bit of time. They can take, I don't know the exact amount of time that they can take, but they can either go really, really fast, or they can just take forever.
They
just
can
be horrible.
They can take I think they can even take 10 seconds or 15 seconds to get out. I'm not sure of the exact number.
Yeah, it's something ridiculously long, and it's really infuriating. There's a lot of things in this game that are infuriating, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
This game tends to be infuriating.
It's not too bad though, but still, there's a few things that can really just like get to you.
Oh yeah.
Like if you miss a double missile, for instance, or like anything like that, it's really hard to hit.
You get killed by a slug in Sector 6, turning just 0%.
Yep. Or like,
which you've beaten Nightmare already.
or get sniped by one of the, or get sniped by random enemy patterns. They can happen. Space pirates, for example. Lower sector 4.
pretty good.
Right now they're returning to Sector 5 yet again. That's basically the Sector 5 is visited a couple of times during the any percent run, and sometimes people get confused what they're actually going to do in Sector 5. For example, in the first encounter, some people forget to pick up ice missiles, or people during the second visit tend to visit the yellow the security unlock. It has happened during races or runs before.
Mm-hmm.
It's very the first few visits to there are very similar in like what you do, so it makes sense, I guess. You can sometimes just forget if you're not paying attention.
And JC is now going to attempt a beautiful. Well, it's one of the 2 times that using Spark at the start of Sector 5, and it's well, the second time is the more impressive one, but this time is useful as well.
Absolutely, and something to note too is when you bonk on something after using a Shine Spark, it basically gives you an extra jump out of it. So if you press and hold A while you're bonking, it'll give you an extra jump right afterwards.
Yeah. So right now they pick up the power bombs, also known as some kind of X-ray visor.
Pretty much, this is the item that you use when you're playing these games casually and you don't know there's something in the room, but you don't know where.
Yep. I'm using that a lot, especially playing casually.
And Zero Mission gives you way to power bombs. This game has the opposite problem. It gives you way too many power bombs if you do 100% category.
Let's be honest, this game gives you way too much of everything.
Yeah.
It gives you, I believe, 20 E-tanks. It gives you 250 missiles and then 74 power bombs. So 250 missiles, 74 power bombs, and I believe, if my math is correct, which it probably is, that would be like 2,099 energy.
Yeah. And it's also good to know that during the any percent run they don't pick up any power bomb tanks at all, because 10 power bombs is
it's more than enough.
It's enough to do the entire run.
It is a generous amount, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, you really don't need them all too much. The only places they get used are for power bomb blocks and on Natori, because Natori takes power bomb damage.
Yeah, I think it's the only boss in the game that does take power bomb damage, am I right?
It is, yeah, it's the only boss that takes power bomb damage.
Mandatoby fell through the crumble blocks at the lower part of Sector 5.
Yeah, he did a good recovery, though.
Yeah.
So now JC is on his way back to the ship to go and save, hopefully. But also to go and fight Yakuza. And at this point of the game, it starts like a boss rush, basically, where they're gonna be fighting a lot of bosses, one after the other, until the end of the
gauntlet.
game. Pretty much,
It's a really cool part of the game in general. There's a lot of cool strats to it, and it's really fast and fun. It's personally my favorite part of it.
It's also a hard part to learn if you're starting out.
Yeah, it's also the part in a 0% run where everything just becomes super stressful.
Everything one hits you, right?
Basically, almost, yeah. It's usually 2-hit, but yeah. Does JC not get a...
No, you got the Shine Spark, you just stored it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why he might be grabbing 5 extra missiles just in case.
He went for the extra missiles to use them again. Natori, that's the boss after the next boss. We'll get to that performance. Right now, you're visiting the ship, so that's basically the ideal point for a safety save, because you get asked to save as well, and it only takes 5 seconds to save. I'm not sure.
It's pretty free. It only takes like 3 seconds or so. Yeah,
the only problem about that save is before the text. So if you reload the save, you have to go through the text again.
True. This is also like the most nerve-wracking part of the run, because it's almost anything in this run can kill you now pretty quickly, especially the bosses. Especially the Kai hunters, those insect enemies. They deal they deal 137 damage or something like it. It's 137 or 127, yeah.
On 0%, it's an insta kill.
Yeah, but it's only when their stingers are out. So they'll only do that. They'll deal significantly less damage when you just run into them when their stinger isn't out.
And here they use the power bombs to clear every tunnel block in their way.
So JC is getting up to Yakuza now. We mentioned Yakuza earlier being a little bit of RNG associated with him. So Yakuza has 2 phases. The first phase is when he crawls around the room and opens his mouth and shoots out fireballs. It's random whether or not he crawls around the room 1 to 4 times before he opens up and fires.
JC started the fight in a very specific manner. He fires a charge beam and missiles up while scrolling the screen up because Yakuza has his mouth open at the start and you can deal damage to him already.
Right, so at the beginning of the fight, yeah, they want to do as much damage as possible so that way they only have to do 1 round of him crawling around the room. The second phase, which JC is on right now, is he jumps around the room and spits out trash, and the strat that is most effective is just shooting missiles directly to where he's going to be and trying to hit him as quickly as possible.
Also, we forgot to note this, but the double missiles on the core axis get harder with each missile upgrade you get, because basically the missiles go faster and you have a larger cooldown time on your missiles.
Yeah, it makes things significantly harder. Oh, Toby is just living life on the edge right now with these. I don't know why he's firing missiles when he doesn't know if the mouth is going to open. He's just wasting missiles.
Probably anticipation of some sorts.
I guess, I don't know.
His
really
Yakuza,
I guess.
You kind of have like the perfect amount for Yakuza when you're fighting them. And like you don't want to overextend with your missiles because you want to have enough to like where in case you miss, but like now that he only has 4, he can only do 2 of the doubles and he got 0 missile drops. So it's going to be really, really hard for him to continue with getting this.
And another reason you want to do it in 1 round, because basically if you do if you deal 500 damage in the first phase, then he goes to the next phase. But all the additional damage that he'll do gets reset when he switches to the next phase. So you don't want to use too much missiles on the first phase.
Yeah, so Yakuza has 1,000 health. Once you deal 500 damage to him, his legs will break off and he'll start jumping around the room. We are looking into something that Rasu found rather recently, which is really odd, where he did a lot of damage to him and it looked like he canceled the animation for his legs breaking off. And then he was doing a warm-up for a run, and then he stopped and he went to like get something to drink or something, and Yakuza kept crawling around the room, and
Yakuza died on his own.
Yeah, he fired a flame and Rasu took damage, and he kind of just started to go into the second phase, like his health got reset, so we don't know exactly what triggered that, but we're gonna try to take a look at that probably soon, or someone is. I don't know, whoever has time.
We think it's a damage transfer, basically.
Probably, it's something weird. But right now, JC's on Mandatoby, and...
Mandatoby has trouble with the SEX engine.
Oh god!
Toby!
What is he doing? Okay, he's alive.
My word.
But he's going to have trouble with the Kyounders. He has to dodge all of them.
Almost ruined my bracket. What a guy.
Everyone's bracket, probably.
Probably.
Yeah, but there you could also see an example of why the SEX is not the most intelligent being on that space station. Because basically, when you go into that tunnel, the SEX keeps jumping over the gap, just randomly, not falling through the gap or trying to shoot into it.
If he didn't get perfect luck there in Iador, it might have been curtains for him.
Oh,
okay,
dude, it was over.
Okay,
Yeah.
Nettery takes 48 missiles to die, or you can substitute any missile shot by charge beam shot or power bomb.
Is
basically.
it 48?
I thought it was 48.
Is that on your cheat sheet?
Yeah, it's on my cheat sheet.
That's
but
fine.
But
Hey,
most
you did some preparatory work. Good for you. I did 0 preparatory work.
Same.
I have about 2 hours or 2 years of prep work.
Anyway, so most runners pick up 40 or 45 missiles, so they have to do at least 3 charge shots / power bombs. to finish Netri, and then farm quickly on the Beamcore X to get some missiles to finish him off.
For the strat that I believe JC and Mandatoby did, I didn't get a chance to watch really closely, was what you want to do is you want to have want to lay a power bomb and then charge your beam immediately, and then fire a missile immediately after you fire your beam. And you want to do that about 3 times, and then lay the next power bomb. And then by the time you do 4 power bombs, and I believe my math is correct, 12 missiles and 12 charge shots, the head will fall off and it'll start firing the beams at you, at which point you can just start shooting missiles directly at them, and it'll die really quickly.
Netri is a very easy boss. It's a relatively easy boss to learn. I mean, these patterns are really predictable, and if you're on the right edge of the platform, the plants shooting out the pollen won't hit you.
But I think Notori is probably the easiest boss with Notori and Notori and Condom Monster, whatever his name was again. Zazabi. Those are probably 2 of the easiest bosses in the game. They're right next to each other when it comes to ease of fight. The hardest ones might be the hardest ones I think in the game are Nightmare, Yakuza, and Arachnus.
And SAX.
SAX too, yeah.
Box Doom also has a tendency to troll people.
I think Arachnus though is the worst of the, especially in 100%.
Yeah. Right now, JC is going to Nightmare. Did he do the Shine Spike? I missed it.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yes, I think.
But that's the.
Just say he did.
That's the longest Shine Spark in the game. It's a beautiful one if you get it. You go through 4, 5 rooms with that Shine Spark. I'm not sure.
I believe it's
it's 5.
It's either 5 or 6. I think.
We'll see right here if. With Mandatoby again, that's...
Yeah, Mandatoby gets a spark.
2, 3,
yeah,
4,
5,
6.
There we go.
Yeah, we can count that last one. I mean, there's a door in the way. Okay, so yeah, Nightmare is
game for the ton of time. It's really cool looking.
Nightmare is a very strange boss. It's no RNG. You have to manipulate his movements. But it also has a very specific opening setup because you have to hit the cannon on his lower part, actually. So that's why...
his first phase, yeah.
That's why JC went under it and fired a charge shot directly into the cannon. I believe he used the flare. I'm not sure.
What you do is you use shoot a charge shot and then fire a missile as you jump up.
Yeah.
And that'll essentially knock it into the next phase where the gravity becomes really heavy, and at that point you're going to want to stay under him and fire another charge shot and missile about 3 or 4 times until it starts blinking white, and then his face falls off.
His mask.
Yeah. And then after that, you just want to grab onto the ladder and then just volley missiles right into his face. Nightmare has a very strange way that he moves, because it's it's completely random at first when he starts to move. Basically, the way his first movement is that he will follow an invisible dot in the room, because every room has an invisible dot that all of the X-Parasites follow. And he will start to follow that before he follows Samus. So when he flies off in a random direction at first, he'll be following that, and then he'll refocus on Samus.
Also, they use missiles against his face. Earlier we said about using that white beam does a lot of damage. At Netri they picked up the plasma beam, which does damage for every frame it's inside an enemy. But the problem is Nightmare's face hitbox is only a line basically, so it only does 1 frame of damage. So this is the case where white beam would have done more damage.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yep.
Next Gen was living life on the edge. He finished Yakuza off with 49 health, and he's taking it rather safe for this Core X.
Yeah, he got really close to time there. It's Kevin Gross on that.
He made it through, though. He definitely made it through, which is good.
Yep.
Yeah,
Goal's
all,
not died.
all runners are still alive at this point, which is good.
Absolutely.
I mean, there are ample ways to die in Metroid Fusion, especially at this point in the run.
During my race, I'll probably end up dying somewhere in after 3.
Don't pull off the GQ, that's all I request.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna try not to die at all this this tournament. It's gonna be hard, but I mean,
most of us don't want to die.
yeah,
I believe in you.
none of us really technically save. So it's gonna be important that everyone, like, you know, not die.
Yeah, but you can do safety saves at the difficult parts of the run, I guess. So you can build in some safety,
Right.
to at least finish the race.
I'm gonna be grabbing an extra E-tank too, so it shouldn't be too bad.
I'm grabbing one before Nightmare personally every time, even though I don't really need it.
Oh yeah.
Now they're at the lower sector. Mandatoby is at the lower sector 4, which is also a bit can be a bit of a scary part, because those enemy patterns can really control you, and it's hard to dodge. Especially the shrimp room Mandatoby is in. It can be hard to get by. Get past
no!
Next
Gen died.
Rip NextGen.
Did he safety save?
I don't think he did.
It doesn't look like it. He's not hitting continue. Oh,
Rip.
That's
Too bad. It's our first forfeit this tournament.
Sorry, next gen.
His stinger apparently, Sector 2.
He got wrecked by a key hunter, which is
Oh yeah,
that's a shame.
Yeah.
they deal a lot of damage, so no surprise there.
Oh no.
Like you mentioned earlier, Sector 2, or really that entire part of the game after, like, going into the Yakuza and after Nightmare is just one of the hard parts of the game, because there's so much action happening really quickly in a row.
There's so many enemies, bosses, and things that you have to dodge and they all do so much damage that it's really, really, like, it's really tough.
Indeed.
It's
Mandatoby,
fun, but it's really tough.
Mandatoby just picked up the fusion missiles, and this is also one of the quote-unquote useless upgrades this run.
I mean, each of those flakes does 1 damage. It can't be that useless.
1 whole damage, dude.
1 whole damage per each one, though.
It makes it even harder to get doubles on Core X as well. But you only have 1 Core X left, so where you can double on. So yeah.
Yeah, the cooldown increases, and man, they move a lot faster.
Yeah.
The only time that they'll be able to try doubles with the fusion missiles is against
SAX.
No. Well, there's 2 then, because they can also do it against Ridley.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about the SAX. But yeah, Ridley and SAX is where they're gonna be using them for doubles.
FlipSide went for the speed boost. He went far enough to the left, but he forgot to shoot the door, so he ran into the door. So he had to do that setup again.
Ooh, damn!
And that's scary because you take a lot of damage from those beams from those pirates there. And this low sector 4, you can there are plenty of ways to take damage there, like I said.
Yeah. So right now JC's going back and he's gonna go fight the security robot again.
Box 2.
Box 2, Xbox.
Xbox.
I like Xbox.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna want to stay out of the water here because he's infected and there's wires loose and whatever. They want to say
electricity.
Electricity.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you're not a fan of Schoolhouse Rock? I'm disappointed in you.
Don't worry, I got what you're saying. I'll pick up the putting down there.
Thank you, Gasta.
No problem.
We call it the cultural difference. Okay. Anyways,
sure.
Xbox takes 12 missiles to go down, and it has a very small hitbox actually, so it's can be kind of tricky at first to learn how to kill it quickly.
You should take about like 4 cycles or so, but if you do it like well enough. high level, you can do it in 3 cycles before he jumps a few times.
Something to point out too is that this is the only Core X where you cannot get doubles. The task can, but realistically, for human players, it is impossible to get doubles on the Wave Beam Core X.
I've heard that even the TAS has difficulties getting those doubles.
It's really not easy to get those doubles. It's really tough. The ceiling is like just low enough to where you can't get enough height to look down and fire 2 missiles.
So the trigger for the escape sequence here essentially is going right in the middle of that last room there at the red tube. And then you fight, then you have S6 here and you have to escape the entire space station, restricted area. Which is just blowing up now, isn't it? Is that SAX?
Fun fact, if you jumped through that door right before entering that Metroid room, all the Metroids line up in a line, which is a spectacular funny sight.
Oh no!
FlipSide!
No, FlipSide!
Oh, no, please!
The butthole is clenched super... Wow!
FlipSide died.
Dude.
I guess he forgot that he had ice missiles?
Does FlipSide have a safety save? Probably not from the looks of it.
Does not look like it, so...
Yikes.
We have
like
our winners.
Well, we don't have them yet because they
Oh, you haven't died yet.
They need to finish.
If they both die, man,
well,
that would be something. They're either JC, I think, saved, and I think Mandatoby might have as well.
I think at this point, if they both died, it'd probably be like the person who was ahead of like most of the time, or like finished to the very end, like farther, probably would win.
Yeah.
Well, who knows?
It all
with that.
No, but I believe the way we were doing it, I talked to JC about this when we were planning it, and I don't remember exactly what we set up, and I'm pretty sure what we came to the consensus to is if there is a tie and there's a double forfeit, meaning that both players are unable to finish, they will re-race probably at a later time.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes much more sense.
Also, we don't know for sure if any of the racers is watching the other racers channel, so if they see that their opponents have died, they might take it extra safe. I mean, Mandatoby is taking the extra safe. He's picked up 5 or 6 E-tanks. I'm not so exactly sure. He had more than 4.
Blue Infinity, there is a risk of death from the beginning of the game to the very end of the game, and that is like very literal. They can die at this point in the run. They can die to Ridley. They can die to the Gold Pirates. They can die to SAX. They can die to SAX's second form. They can die to a Soft Lock. They can die to Omega, the Omega Metroid, and any other of like the enemies that are just along the way. Like it's a very unsafe game.
Indeed.
Oh yeah.
Omega Metroid has cost me many a run, to be honest, especially if you get double swipe. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's very deadly, at least.
Yeah, they're in constant risk of dying. Ridley, not so much. Ridley isn't so bad if they do it right. I think one of the only people to have ever died. Well, then again, I think I've died to Ridley during a race. So,
I've died
I guess
to Ridley during runs. I mean,
yeah, I think a few of the people that have ran the game with, you know, like sub 50 or like sub 55 times that have died to Ridley are very, very low, and me and Biospark, I believe, are on that list. I believe, Box, you're on that list, and maybe Shasta? I don't know.
No, I don't have a sub 50.
Oh, no, sub 55. Don't you have like a 52 or 53?
Oh, yeah, I have a 53. I thought you said sub 50.
I added on sub 55 too, because I mean, that's, sub 50 is like, it's kind of, there's not a whole lot of people with a sub 50, but there's plenty of people with sub 55 as well that have also probably done
I
that.
agree.
Yeah, I know I've definitely died it before, like maybe once or twice.
It's really, like, it's not an easy boss.
It really isn't. I remember growing up, I actually used to use only missiles on Ridley, which took like 120 missiles or something like that.
Yeah, I was about to mention that too, because we kind of didn't mention that when JC was fighting him. Basically, the strat you want to use for Ridley is you want to shoot your charge beam diagonally through Ridley so it stays inside him longer, since the wave beam does damage per frame.
Plasma beam.
Yeah. plasma beam. What? No, they have wave beam.
Yeah, but the plasma beam makes it go through an enemy. That's the plasma beam adds the damage per frame. The wave beam doesn't add anything to an enemy fight at this point.
It doesn't really add any more damage, but still, I mean, whatever, give or take. But the way Mandatoby's doing it was he was shooting diagonally through him and then firing a missile right afterwards before he started charging again. That does the most damage, and you kind of want to shoot it. If you're lucky, you can get it to where you can shoot it while he's moving backwards, so it'll stay inside him for even longer, dealing more damage.
Yeah.
But give or take, I mean, those are two pretty good fights, and get your resident sleepers ready because there's about 2.5 minutes of text coming up with Adam for JC's side, and Toby will get there in about 1.5 minutes, I think.
Or minutes. Yeah, something like that. Also fun to note, wave beam adds the ability to go through walls with the beam, but it also increases your pseudo screw attack damage. But that's useless at that point because after you fight Ridley, you have the real screw attack, which kills any non-boss enemy at that point. Right?
Some of that.
I'm sorry, what? I was memeing.
The real screw attack basically kills every non-boss enemy.
What does? Screw attack?
Screw attack.
Oh, screw attack is way overpowered.
Yeah,
it's really good.
It's literally the most overpowered one in, I believe. Actually, it's pretty overpowered in all the games. But this one is specific because you can't be shot out of your screw attack.
Yeah.
Like other games where you can get shot while you're screw attacking, this one just tanks all damage and you just kill everything in one hit.
Any non-boss enemy, that is.
Oh yeah, anything that's not a boss. I mean, at this point, you can't really use it against the boss unless you're going through and using the debug menu, which I don't think in that case you could use it on them either. Fun fact though, you see them none of them have done a single wall jump because it's not in the game. However, if Samus has screw attack but does not have space jump, she can single wall jump.
Yeah, they also used that in 100%. That strat is used on a ladder. So basically, you can screw attack jump off a ladder, and you can immediately go back, and then you can climb up a ladder way faster than just normally climbing a ladder. Yeah,
you can still kind of do it, but man, it doesn't really compare to the debug menued screw attack single wall jumping. I've actually played around with it. It's actually a lot of fun and really fast. It just feels really weird to do it in Fusion though.
Right now,
JC's on his way to go blow up a planet and a space station.
Basically,
normal everyday activities.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Samus didn't blow anything up in Metroid 2. She just killed a bunch of Metroids. They had it coming.
Pretty harsh right there. Yeah.
So shout out to AM2R. Amazing game that I haven't played.
Same.
I played it.
I just wait for another controller right now, essentially. Mine's like weird.
I'm waiting for a Mac version.
I finished AM2R a couple of weeks ago, but that's beside the point here.
Nice.
Right now, JC is getting to the observation deck, is the observation deck?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yes.
Operations
deck.
Operations deck. That's the one.
Close enough. It's either way. It's at the very top of the space station.
Operations, observations. There's 4 large windows. Take your 5 large windows. Take your pick. You can observe the space.
The strat they're using against SCX is to freeze it and then diagonally shoot a wave beam plus missile combination. The wave beam deals a ton of damage because it's diagonally going through the enemy, and the missile is to freeze it again. And it's a very specific setup. And the second phase of SCX is really easy. You fire a diagonal wave beam shot and then fire the shot up right as the SCX jumps up. So basically the beam stays inside it for almost all of its jump.
Yeah.
Basically kills it in one go.
It jumps up pretty straight up. JC just got 2 double missiles on the ice core as
That's
well,
really
which is really good. That's the hardest one to do to get doubles on, because you got to do downward doubles, and there's also the ice beam. So basically, the way you want to do it is you want to fire 2 missiles, and you want to have it to where you hit the core itself instead of the ice beam, because it'll deal significantly less damage.
Right now, JC is on the escape. He's going to his ship to escape the station before it crashes into the planet.
Hoping to, at least.
And maybe we'll see the zigzag threat. I'm not sure if JC will do it.
Oh yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah,
he's doing
it. He got it.
Zigzag threat. That's the fastest way to clear that platform block. It's really hard to dodge all the platforms because you have to either fall straight through or dodge all the platforms, which is really hard. And right now he's going for a Shine Spark.
Or he can Wind Spark again. How did he mess up both? He messed up both low height Shine Sparks by Wind Sparking. How is that possible?
Well, this low height is deceptively hard to get.
It's super specific.
But maybe Mandatoby has it.
We'll see soon.
I thought Toby just soft locked. Oh.
Yeah, there is a slight chance you can soft lock on the English version on that fight. It's costed JC a race about a week or 2 ago.
A week ago. I think we like last Saturday. Toby, please.
Okay, we're good.
Oh wow.
He survived anyway with like 7 health, but still.
JC got it. He's got the quick kill. Basically, the last 2 bosses are a joke. You can stun lock them both and quick kill them both. For the Omega Metroid, all you do is you run up, shoot it in the chest once. Once he swipes, you run back and away, and then once that's over, you run back up and just spam the ice beam right through the middle of his chest, and he'll just stumble backwards indefinitely until he dies.
It's good to note there, if you're standing in the correct position, it will swipe you, but it also has a chance to immediately swipe you again after it swipes you, the so-called double swipe, and that deals to every swipe an E-tank of damage, so it's really unforgiving.
I think Mandatoby is going to be okay. He's got 5 E-tanks, which is taking it super safe.
Mandatoby might actually be going for the upstrat. I've seen that. I've seen him doing that a lot lately.
Pulsemore does that a lot too, but Pulsemore cheats.
Pulsemore has a very specific. Well, the setup of Pulsemore is also the one used by Mandatoby, and it's really good.
He did not get it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, this one pixel off.
He was a little bit too high.
Slightly too high.
Looked like he did for a second there, but hard to tell on the screen.
You'll be able to tell if he gets a low height is if
he touches the ground,
leg.
basically.
Yeah, if Samus's legs are in the ground when she's Shine Sparking, which has got to be painful. She's just tearing up metal.
Yeah.
We just mentioned the upstrat. The upstrat is the fastest way to kill the Omega Metroid, actually, and it's
slightly faster. Yeah.
It's and basically it's very specific position, but if you fire up, well, you might see it from Mandatoby. Yeah, he's going for it.
There it is.
And there it is, the upstrat kill. There's a nice setup for it. I believe Pulsemore has a video for it.
Yeah, but you never. It might have a setup for it, but don't expect there to be any commentary because Pulsemore never talks.
No, but it's a very specific position where you have to stand. There's a visual cue for that. I say it's still worthwhile to look it up if you're getting into a better time at Fusion. It's not a very beginner-friendly strat, anyway.
Absolutely not. I don't even go for it still because it's, nah. That's kind of my reasoning for it. Nah.
But anyways, JC and Mandatoby did finish their races. That means they're the winners of their matches, and they advance to the next rounds of the winners round, while NextGenGamer and FlipSide are demoted to the losers bracket or bonus brackets, whatever you call it.
Still their chance, essentially.
Just cancel, JC. Oink.
JC is in our channel right now.
I want to thank I want to thank Mandatoby and JC for winning and not messing up my bracket.
I just messed up my own bracket.
Big ups to you guys. That's right, you did, because you knocked out Next Gen. You should have dove and just, through the game. Him dying didn't really help.
Yeah.
Fair.
Whatever you call
He
it.
died as soon as he got into Sector 2.
So their chance,
Unfortunately, but
essentially.
it happens. Yeah, he got stung to death.
Right now.
And right after
I want to thank
Skateboard,
Mandatoby
closer
and Jace.
to-
After Sax escape, he got hit by an ice beam and got knocked down to like 119 health. So
Yeah,
That sucks.
it's rough. And I believe FlipSide died to lowest sector 4. I'm not sure.
Right after Nightmare.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. That is one of the most dangerous sections of the game.
Anyways, in about in how much time is the
in
next
about 2
race
minutes.
Yeah.
So right
Not
now
too
we're
bad.
gonna have another 4-way race, 2 more races with 4 people.
Yep.
It's gonna be Kirby Master versus Metroid Master, and I believe it's gonna be Xploud versus
No life phase.
No Life 9 phase, right?
It's gonna be a fun race.
I'm actually gonna be interested in that one because I'm gonna be probably facing the winner of the No Life 9 phase and Xploud one. So,
Anyways, I'll be signing off for commentary right now.
Same here.
I might hang around though.
All right, thanks guys for commentating this race.
No problem.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks
Was the
thanks
best
for
one.
the great race, everyone. See you later, guys.
Yep, it was fun. Have a good one, everyone.
I love how I've lost like 10 seconds to the climb.
Place, what is going on? Yeah, dude, that was amazing. Just looked at your screen. And I'm like, well, JC failed the climb about 4 times.
It's like,
He's
that
trying to
was- like,
trying to give Next Gen a little bit of a head start.
I thought about doing it on purpose.
Should have just waited a little bit and been like, go ahead, Next Gen. It's a shame though that he died. Good 40. What is that? A 48?
That's a
Very
48.
nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm only 10 seconds above my English PB.
Oh wow, that's not bad. I'm gonna be shooting for a 46 or a 47 at some point during this tournament.
Especially with given the amount of random stuff that went wrong. I mean, nothing
Yeah.
major happened, but just a bunch of small dumb things.
Yeah. We're actually gonna get to see a really good treat, and that's Kirby Master actually playing Metroid Fusion.
That should have been spammed the entire time. That was 19 beams.
Had 19 beams.
That was 19.
Ugh. I actually made a comment too, because I saw how many eye shots you were getting. I was like, yeah, he's definitely having a tough go of it. Like, he's not getting good luck with these eye doors in any way whatsoever.
So, I mean, given that, I'm surprised I'm only 10 seconds behind.
That's not bad though. You had a really good run execution-wise. It's just the RNG was, whew,
Oh my.
man, not on your side.
I did like my emergency time, though. That was pretty good.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
I like that one. 10 out of 10 would do that again.
Oh, totally. Gotta hope for good luck on my in my race tomorrow.
Oh,
I should probably practice at some point, but nah.
you might want to.
I might want to, but I mean, I'll just use the race as my practice.
Alright, why am I being flashed? Oh, okay.
So, the moment we're getting set up with our next race.
Yeah, let's try to get Mandatoby and FlipSide in really fast as well. While that's getting set up.
That's right. We can have the 4 racers talking about their runs, I guess. Top idea. Oh,